Amazing early spring day, and I'm riding the Pivot 429. It's a bike I am extremely excited about. Every ride I've had on this thing has been a bit mind-blowing. Almost feels like a more concentrated version of the Switchblade that I really loved. Yeah, it's essentially Pivot's 120 millimeter travel trail bike, and their marketing material kind of markets this thing as a do-it-all rig. This bike is definitely feeling extremely lightweight despite the beefier build that they sent our way with obviously a 36 and DPX2. This thing is just like a total rocket ship, up or down, and it always gets me just like kind of finding my limit. Certainly one of those bikes that just makes you want to dig, and it's just like a super lightweight, flickable bike. Great climber, super zippy feeling DW Link suspension. Even beyond that, you get the 432 millimeter chainstay on this bike, so it's just like totally telepathic around corners. Slack setting to head angles like a 66 degree program, which just this whole bike is just kind of like telepathically turning around your hips the entire ride. It's just like, I don't know, it's just nimbleness squared. It's just got the most zesty feel. It's very addicting using the kind of kinematics of the DW Link system. You can set it up quite supple without having to worry about the bike being too floppy to climb good. These wheels that come on this bike are also feeling real nice, just zippy, but not too brutal for carbon wheels. They're actually pretty forgiving. Really dig that. Yeah, as far as the kinematics, if I haven't made myself clear, certainly not the kind of bike where you're going to be reaching for the climb lever. So easy to pull the front end up too. Just little shorty chainstays. Got this thing feeling so playful. These switchbacks are like perfect example of what this thing does good. Just slices through the tight stuff like butter. Oh, time for the good part here. This thing is so ridiculous off of jumps. Woo! Just took that so freaking deep. Oh man, yeah. Between the, God, this thing is just weightless. Between that kind of poppy leverage curve and just the lightweight nature of this build, this bike, just absolutely comical off of jumps. I actually haven't had it out in dirt conditions this fast yet either. Holy buckets. I've been pretty excited to ride this bike on SST here in town just because it's like one of the best SST builds. Just so lightweight. And then those short little, god dang, it's crazy. Those short little chainstays just make it so easy to pump this thing around, change direction. Woo! Still gobbles up the roots and whatnot though. I think with that ultra progressive curve, this bike actually feels quite plush for being 120 millimeters. But yeah, just changing direction with a bike this light and nimble. It's kind of what I meant when I said earlier that it's just nimbleness squared. It's crazy how capable like a 120 bike can be. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Buddy, I'm so much more air than usual. Just in the weightless zone. It's so funny how like a few pounds on a bike just translates to so much when you're out on the trail. Like you'd never guess that it would make that big of a difference, but it certainly does. God dang, just the pop, it's just unreal. And you definitely don't have to worry about high speed bumps and stuff coming. Just like really not a problem. Has there ever been a better trail bike combination? Woo! Just landing everything a little bit deeper than I'm used to. Oh my gosh. Just the speeds with the dissectors rolling just super fast. Really don't need to brake check corners too much when you got those little chainstays working for you. And I should mention the reach is about 470 on this large, which definitely adds some, just kind of that Goldilocks amount of stability. I mean, it feels like I'm riding a pump track bike on a pump track. And that feeling is just so addicting. Just the energy return that you get out of a corner. It's just like, wow, I'm not really sure I've ever felt that like that before. There's just this sense of the bike kind of like just pivoting around my hips. Oh my gosh. I'm just I really am taking so many risks right now just because I know pretty much exactly how the bike's gonna react when you combine this lightweight chassis with a super progressive curve, short little chain stays that are extremely predictable, just like popping to the moon. This bike's rocking like a 66-degree head tube angle in even the lower setting. And I would have thought that the bike might have lacked a little bit of kind of high speed stability with that in mind, but certainly does not seem to be the case. This thing loves to go fast and eat up the chunk. And it seems like really what that head angle is doing for me is just making this thing whip out of these corners. It's just so fun to just kind of push this thing and hammer it down the trail because it just doesn't let you down. Oh, yet another amazing trail combination for this bike. Oh man, it's like I've got bonus room on these corners today. Wasn't as much of a chore squeezing this bike through there. It is called pump track trail after all. Ooh. Oh man. Yeah, this thing certainly doesn't shy away from the speed. It's crazy. And pulling for mid-trail routes and stuff feels real nice. Oh man, crazy. That's just about full speed through there. The little 429 holds up. And this thing just like glides through the forest. It does feel real composed, just like when you're in a corner. Like it's got that nice low bottom bracket. And man, you are just like able to pick out all the tight little lines you want on this thing. Big jump coming, no problem. Just swallows it right up somehow. The 120 mil of travel. Ew. Oh man. Crazy how good it feels at speed. It's a little surprising actually. It's really not phased at all. I don't really feel like I should be backing it off with this thing. Those dissectors really hold their edge even like on a little bit flatter corners too, which is surprising. So who's this bike for? think there's a pretty wide market of riders that would just love this thing. I think people that are riding kind of like blue trails and technical climbs and things like that are just gonna love this bike. Phew! As well as advanced riders that really want a bike that they can just pump through the landscape with precision. Honestly, people that like jumping and making trail gaps, this thing is just ridiculous for those last minute pull-ups, just with this lightweight build and poppy rear end. Woo! And people who want to spend all day riding through the mountains on an efficient pedaling little rocket ship. Phew! And finally, corner enthusiasts. The way this thing just rebounds out of the backside of a corner is just ridiculous. You just have to experience it for yourself. Woo! Such an amazing little bike, and I really don't want my time on it to be over. It's just the ultimate Galbraith machine. God, you can just push it through these flat corners. Woo! So if you like this review, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. For the full write-up, head on over to freehubmag.com.